The Rise of the Performative Male. It sounds like a play. And the stars of this play are Gen Z men. I think this is more about chasing a TikTok fad than actually starting a movement. This is more about adapting to dating and trying to chase after what women want. And men are not winning. Specifically, Gen Z men are the far worst when it comes to dating in general. And then we want to talk about the elephant in the room here is this is also what this is mainly about is that it is pushed down our throats that masculinity is inherently toxic. It's not. Okay? So we have to redefine masculinity because masculinity is inherently toxic. So we have to be more effeminate. So the performative male is about drinking matcha because women like matcha and reading books because women like books and journaling. Women like journaling. And it's like, don't let people define journaling and self-care as effeminate. I can agree. But that's not what people are not that smart. What people are doing, what these men are doing is they're chasing after what women are doing and trying to get more acceptance by getting more into, again, their habits, right? You don't have to sacrifice your masculinity because what you're doing is you're not being authentic. And no one likes someone who's insincere. They want authenticity, even though a lot of people, they are not authentic, right? They struggle with it because they're scared of showing their authentic self, but people love it, especially because what I just said, a lot of people are not brave enough to be authentic of who they are. That's why a lot of them crave authenticity. So if you're having an issue with, I can't get any friends because men are alone and they're lonely and, you want to improve your social circle, not just with women, then you have to be more authentic. And some people are going to be a smart ass and comment, well, I'm going to kind of say what's on my mind. Come on, man. You know what I mean. Doesn't mean being an asshole. Well, that's who I am. Doesn't mean being a jackass. It means being more real of who you are. For example, do you enjoy those things that define a performative male? Do you like to read about feminism? Do you like to... And that's fine. You're still a man. That's my point. You could still be masculine, be, as they say, female adjacent to where you're an ally. But this whole idea of you have to sacrifice your masculinity and who you are for the sake of gaining acceptance by women, you're not going to be happy, number one. People are going to sniff you out, number two. You're going to have a hard time in life gaining friends and keeping friends, especially when you want to talk about romantic relationships. Okay? The saddest thing is that you have a lot of this coming out where a lot of confusing messages. That is very confusing on what, and young men reading this is like, well, what do I do? What direction do I take now? Should I hide who I am and I like things that are very masculine? And some people would say, well, what is masculinity anyway? And what is masculine things? And now I agree that the idea, for example, some ideas of what masculine and effeminate are have to be redefined. Absolutely. Right? So, for example, caretaking. That is seen as being effeminate. Being a stay-at-home husband. Again, being the one who cares for the children, child care. Again, seen as effeminate. And it shouldn't be. But what this is this is very simplistic. This is looking at not redefining those roles, but this is more about trying to get more into the social circles of women and not creeping them out. This is post-Me Too and getting more adjacent to women, not to redefine that role, let's say, of being a house husband. So I'm going to stay at home, be a house husband, then I'm going to be able to be around women, for example, because I don't want to be in a social circle with women and hang out with housewives and sip lattes while our partners are working. Okay, if you want to. But then you have to realize what's the motivation when people are doing these things of getting in around women and basically being a chameleon, because do you actually want those things? Now, what I'm saying, it doesn't make you less of a man. Slow down, because men do want children, and some men do want to stay at home. Some men do want to do the things I'm talking about. And we want to, in a way, redefine those traits and say, that's not effeminate taking care of my kids. But this isn't what this is. This isn't this complex and smart. It came from TikTok, for Christ's sake. If you really read into what they're doing, it's more about not redefining anything. It's more about being a chameleon, putting on your colors, and it's pink. Well, let's redefine pink. No, let's not redefine pink. No, I'm going to wear pink because pink's effeminate, and then I'm going to be around female spaces, be accepted because I'm not a threat. But let's redefine pink. Let's redefine no, shut the fuck up. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's keep it simple. That's what this is, right? Because when you really dive into this, it's not much as, and you have to be careful diving headfirst into this because the Minecraft map is so shallow. But that's what this is. This is very surface level. It would be better if we were actually redefining, but they're not. Again, it's just, what are the colors women like? Oh, okay, they like that. They like that. Okay, I'm gonna wear more skin products. Wait a minute. Not that I like the skin products, but like what brands do women like? Okay, I'm gonna do that. You see what I'm doing? Right? Now, if you like to wear certain fashion and is seen as effeminate, do you like it? Well, what do women like? If you like to, let's say, be more into beauty products, what do you like when it comes to skincare? Well, what do women like? What are the brands they like? You see what they're doing? So this isn't about really defining anything. It's not. You can't convince me otherwise. This is basically playing along, and almost. And I'll say this: it's like pretending to be like you're gay, and you could take that any way you want to take it. I'm not trying to be offensive, but you might be offended by me saying that. But this is, you're calling people who do this gay? I'm not saying that, but this is very parallel to what they're trying to do. Being very, very just not a threat. I'm not a threat. I'm not a threat. I think that by acting a certain way, I'm going to be taking a step away from traditional masculinity, which is inherently seen as evil or toxic. So therefore, I'm an ally, not a threat. I'm a friend. Right? As you see my son getting excited in the background, or you hear him, right? But the point is that this just is nonsense, this clown work. Be your authentic self. Be your authentic self. If you really wanted to redefine masculinity for the better, you have to first understand who you are. You can't be fake and then especially go against the grain and try to change masculinity. You can't be fake and actually have a sincere movement that gains traction. No. Be real of what you want as a man, then to go after changing what we see as traditional masculinity. Again, what I want as a man, because I'm my authentic self, and I don't care how effeminate this looks, is I'm not being performative. Okay? So I saw him in the background. I love my kid. And a lot of people think it's effeminate staying at home, taking care of my kid, which I work. But the point is just even right now and being very being attentive to his needs and child care, it's just seen as very effeminate. It is. And I want to redefine that. But I'm not doing it so I can be liked by people and liked by women. I'm not doing it because, okay, I think that would get me more into their social circle, so I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad. What? Be your authentic self. You're going to have a less difficult life, and you're going to be a happier person because of it.